this down. Okay, got it. All right, let's go ahead and take the roll, please.
Right. Chair Spey.
Present.
Commissioner Demas. Commissioner Gamboa.
Present.
Commissioner Jasmine.
Present.
Commissioner Trim. Director Armstrong.
Present.
AAG Lamson.
Present.
For the record, Allison Ripper, Commission Clerk. Any others on the call wishing to introduce themselves may take themselves off mute and do so now.
Jerry Lee, Operations Manager.
Jim Owens, Fair Housing Manager.
Deborah Gonzalez, Administrative Services Manager.
Sonia Craddock, Customer Service Manager.
Hearing no others, roll call is complete. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our March meeting. Thanks for everybody for being here. Circulated in our materials from last month are, let's see, this is the meeting minutes from February 22nd. Any commissioners have any discussion regarding those minutes? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion regarding the approval of the minutes.
I make a motion to receive and approve the minutes as they are presented.
I second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, thank you. Also submitted in our materials are some cases for us to review and close. There were a total of 43 this month. Is there any discussion regarding any of those cases before we make a motion regarding them?
It's it's no.
Okay. All right, then I'll entertain a motion regarding the approval of the case closures.
I so move.
Second.
All right, all those in favor of closing the submitted cases say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. All right, those are approved as submitted.
Jeff, before we leave case closures, I just wanted to commend the staff of the Human Rights Commission. There were a couple of very significant settlements. One that had 100,000 in lost wages plus 50,000 in general damages for kind of a landscaping type service in Richland, which was very encouraging. And then there was another one, a housing one, I believe, that had a $49,000 settlement. Very egregious failure to accommodate. A lot of times we just criticize or raise concerns. So it's good to see those settlements.
Yeah, and they are, the typical settlements we see are, I've never seen one that's over $10,000 so far.
Yeah, I was surprised. So
usually they're rather nominal. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, and there's 43 cases, and the other observation is that there weren't very many that were just closed like we usually see, which are easy closures. These were, the vast majority of them were fully investigated, full write-ups, detailed analysis, and yeah, I mean, it's 43 cases, but it was a hefty 43 cases too.
Yeah,
I agree. Good work.
Very good work. All right. Let's see here. Next on our agenda is the Executive Director reporting. Andrita, the floor is yours.
I just want to share that I'm just so excited about how our team is coming together and having 40 plus cases to close this month is no small feat when you are considering particularly that we have new staff. They are Jim and Jerry and our admin staff. They're part of the closure process too. We have, and even in Olympia, almost total new admin staff. So people are working harder than usual just to get folks up to speed, and a lot of coaching comes into play with settlements, even in the investigative process. So thank you for recognizing, and I echo what you said. I'm just really proud of how the staff is working together and really demonstrating their commitment to excellent work. Kristen and I, and Kristen will go into detail more when she gives her report, but we have been meeting in regards to the U visas and the statement of interest involving folks that have issues related to immigration status, and she's working on someone from her office to come and give us more information about the possible outcomes of the commission being a part of either a statement of interest or U visas, really, and what it has to do with it's guarding against possible retaliation when someone has filed a charge with our office. And at the same time, it is anonymous, but it is our effort we're asked to help safeguard folks in the workplace from retaliation. And this, I take the position that it is very much aligned with us eliminating and preventing discrimination, because if it looks like somebody's going to be mistreated because they filed a charge, then there would certainly be a chilling effect there. So nonetheless, we are still working on that, and I'm hoping that we'll have a presentation in place in May. And so this group can have more information about the process, and you all may decide that you give the authority to me to determine if on a case-by-case basis, if we're going to write a letter of interest or get involved with supporting folks this way, or you may want to have the cases a bit before you. So nonetheless, that is my report, and thanks. You'll hear more from Kristen during her report.
Wonderful. One thing that we talked about last meeting was for there to be some thought by the commissioners, and if there's any staff, of course, we welcome that always. But whether there's there are any organizations or advocacy groups that we may want to reach out to in a partnership approach to try to identify areas that we can improve our work, or gaps in the rulemaking or the legislative framework, that kind of stuff. Andrita, did you receive any thing from any of the commissioners regarding that?
I did not. Allison, did you? Because sometimes people will send, commissioners may have sent some things to Allison. I don't think so though, but.
I don't have anything. No, thank you.
I think, Jeff, in the past, what we've done is just, with under the leadership of the director, just had a lot of outreach. So I think what you're talking about is actually like the outreach. Who do we reach out to? And there are established, especially in the farm workers movement, there's established contacts with, especially the legal services program that have been involved in many major farm worker cases. I'd like, to for the next meeting, I would like to ask Andrita to give us a report on what her plans for outreach are. I was disappointed that there was a farm worker unit set up that had monthly meetings with the pest director, and I understand that that was discontinued, which that's not a good sign for outreach. I would like also a report on, when that decision was made, and if the executive director plans on participating in those meetings, because Eastern Washington is very, very different than Western Washington, especially now with 30,000 some guest workers that are brought to this country and worked and then shipped back to Mexico. So.
Yeah, Commissioner Gamboa, we still are participating and working with that group. I have there is a staff person, Wilma, in I think she's in Spokane or close by, Wenatchee. Yeah, she is participating with that group. So we're still alive and well.
Do you plan to, I think it sends a strong message, when the director drops out and puts a staff person to take her place, especially a new director. I would, I think it's important that you participate in it directly.
Okay. I certainly can do that.
Yeah, and this was part of the thought process last time when we had this discussion, is that it's helpful for us as the commissioners to identify certain groups that we wish the organization to be reaching out to, whether it's in collaboration with us or in addition to us or exclusively by the commission. But the thought process was to be able to identify outreach opportunities with potential organizations, and if they're advocacy groups, to talk about gaps in the current framework, whether it be statutory, regulatory, policy, administrative. How can our organization do its job better to fulfill what it's supposed to be doing? So I would suggest that we give further discussion to this point at the next meeting. I think Commissioner Gamboa does bring up a valid point about the farm workers and that industry. In fact, there was an article in the Seattle Times this morning about how there's dwindling numbers of farm workers, and there's various reasons for that. But it amplifies the importance of that and other affiliated groups of people that are affected by these things. So it's a prudent question to ask. It's a prudent thing for us to discuss. I would suggest that we all give some more thought to organizations that we'd like to see there be more outreach to, or organizations that we can be part of as well to reach out to in serving this work, and that we hold a point for the next meeting to discuss that. In addition to the good question that Commissioner Gamboa raised about the farm worker union.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
All right.
I'll come with a list of people that the farm worker, that we work with in the farm workers orbit.
Yeah, and particularly given the newer composition of the agency, really across all levels, to the extent that particularly you, Commissioner Gamboa, you've got sort of the institutional and historical knowledge of how some of these organizations have interacted with each other in the past. It'd be helpful for us to be able to identify that, so that the new folks and the folks coming in the future are able to build off that work, so that we're not losing it. All right. Anything else or any other questions for Andrita before we move on?
I think is it my imagination, or some people commissioners missing a lot of meetings? There's an existing policy requiring attendance at meetings by commissioners. We were having the same problem before, and then we looked at the policy and then made a decision that the commissioners should attend meetings, and if they were not going to attend meetings, they should be asked, they want to continue. So that's
Yes.
I believe the policy, we did look it up relatively recently. And Andrea can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the policy is 2 absences. And then after that, we start to ask questions.
right.
That are progressively critical.
And we've done that, and we can go ahead and initiate that again Chair Spay, I'll be reaching out to you because you're part of that process, and so we'll see if we can get something happening there.
Yeah. It's a valid question, but unfortunately, we have minutes to say who was there and who wasn't there, and what the frequency of that is. There's 1 or 2 commissioners that I think I've only seen once or twice. But
right.
Yeah. Let's put a pin in that, Andrea. Let's discuss this next month. But in the meantime, let's get with the commissioners that have not been attending and see if we can get at least a response from them as to why, whether it's excused or unexcused, or they need to take leave of absence or whatever. And if it's not clear or whatever the case may be, then we'll follow the policy in place and progressively discuss these things with them.
Okay.
Good.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If the level of commitment is not there, would it be best to look for other people that be committed to this, because this is serious business. If they're not interested, they should just depose and then get the people. So I think that would be, because commitment is commitment. Once you give your word, you say you're going to do something, you got to do it. And if you're not showing up, or if you say, yeah, I'm in, and then every other meeting you're not showing up, you're not being productive. Other people are sitting around reading all these things and try to be there, and they're not doing it. So it's
right.
point blank. They have to know if they're going to be committed to it. I think if I'm very sick in the hospital, I'll still come in the meeting. So I don't know.
I think part of the problem is that we're all volunteers, and it's a gubernatorial appointment approved by the Senate.
Yeah.
I'm not versed in what it takes to forcibly remove somebody from that kind of position, but I don't think it's a stroke of a pen. I could be wrong, but even if it is, I think it's incumbent upon us to. I know that there is a policy, and it's incumbent upon us to follow that policy as we move through things. And it may be just that, reminding people of the importance, and if they're not willing to honor that importance, that they need to step aside. Some people sort of get a refreshed approach about these things, and they say, okay, well, I'm going to start showing up. But it's a valid frustration. I've shared it in the past, and particularly with some of the repeat offenders. But I hear you. We'll look into it. We'll start the process. We'll try to give an update next time.
And usually just reminding people that what's expected of them, and asking them if they're real serious or not, that seems to work. You don't have to go through a formal termination process, because as you said, they're volunteers, but they're still expected to show up and do the work of the commission.
Yeah. Well, it's not like we show up to a meeting and we leave. I mean, we go through an application process. We're picked by the governor. We're put through forth by the Senate. We're voted on by the Senate. So it's not like you show up when you want to show up. It's more than that. But the policy does appreciate the fact that, this is not our full-time jobs and things may come up, and that's why there's some leniency.
Right.
But if I don't want to be specific about anybody, but my impression was that there was an issue and it was resolved, and then it may be becoming an issue again. We just need to go through the minutes and identify whether the absences meet the required number of absences in the policy for us to escalate it.
Right.
So we'll take a look at that. Andrea, you and I will talk about that.
Okay.
Preferably, let's try to, if we can this week, just so that we deal with it while it stays fresh.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Anything else for Andrea before we move on? All right, hearing nothing, we'll move to commissioner reporting. Do any of the commissioners have any updates? Last time we had a bunch of updates. Yeah, floor is you guys. What's happening?
I have a short report. I was asked to do a presentation in to a retirement community, you know, that of people, a lot of activists in Seattle that live there and have participated in farm worker issues. So I went and gave a presentation not this Wednesday, but the past Wednesday, and it was you know, well attended, about 100 people, and we talked about specifically about farm workers and the issues facing farm workers and the struggle that we had to engage in to get the rights that we have, and I did mention that I was a member of the commission and continue to be a member of the commission that was continuing to fight for the rights of all Washingtonians to have equal rights.
Very nice.
So
Very, very nice. It's good to have these speaking opportunities. Not only does it get us as a group in front of people, but it also increases the awareness of the organization. A lot of people just think EEOC when it comes to legal stuff. They may not know about the Human Rights Commission.
right.
Although I don't know what the backlog, which is worse, the federal government, or I mean, they're pretty poorly staffed right now. But I feel like our backlog would not be as bad as theirs.
Yeah.
But my impression is EEOC denies everything, so who knows? I doubt they get the good, thorough workup like these memos that we get. I'll say that. All right. Anything else in terms of commissioner reporting?
Well, I'm invited in here in almost everything that's going on in Spokane. And I never failed to tell them that I am part of the commission. People call me, ask a lot of questions about the commissions and what do we do. So I refer them to the website, and I think the website is well versed and really direct in telling people what we do and what is available for them, and that, and more than myself really. But the invitations are coming, and I'm representing. You know, it's not about talking so much. It's about being there, being present, and in case something important is coming down, that I may be able to signal or to reach out to you guys, to the administration, and say what is going on. But my eyes are open, my ears are open, and I'm being very present in the community for the commission.
You know, it's interesting. I looked at the website in between this meeting and the last meeting for a similar reason. And one thing that occurred to me is when I was looking through the sites is our commissioner page is not updated.
Yeah,
it's not.
So
That's right.
that's something that we should probably update.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I actually don't think Commissioner Jasmine, you're on here at all.
Yeah, but
Commissioner
I spoke.
Smith is not.
Yeah, Jerry and I, we spoke about it, and he asked me to send in some information about myself, and he's already working on that. Jerry's on top of it.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So thank you very much. I'm glad that you did. And also I think I needed some cards, like when you go to an official or someone who is active in the community, wanting to talk to them, you give them a business card, and they see your name and you represent the commission, then they are more willing to listen to you because you're an official. But if you come, you say, well, I'd like to speak to you, see how we can help you, and if you have issues and whatever, and I'm with the commissioner, it's just all lips. There's no, and if they go online and they check, they don't see you there, so this guy, no, forget him. So you might pass a lot of opportunity to help people and to, by not having representation, correct representation or backing.
Yeah. I mean, are you asking for, something as simple as business cards?
Yeah, I can't do it all by I can't just go and get your what you call it, emblem and put on a card and do my thing. That's not legal. So it has to be from you guys, and be on the website is very good because yes, someone did check on the website. It was a church, a Morning Star church. I was invited to come and speak there, and they didn't find me on the website. So yeah.
Well, Andrea, is that something that you can set in motion?
We can do that, and I'm thinking that the card could have our website and the office phone number,
right.
And certainly your name.
Right.
Okay, that sounds really good to me. I'll get on that.
The cards have already been ordered.
Oh, great.
Ordered last week, and we're waiting. And as soon as we get the information and a picture, we'll upload the website.
I'll send out the picture today, Jerry.
Okay.
Today.
And Commissioner Demas also is not on here. I know she's not present now, but we'll talk to her about, in addition to her her absence, we'll talk to her about her appearance on the website as well.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Very. Go ahead.
Okay.
Commissioner Gamboa, anything else?
No, I'm done. So
okay.
Let's continue.
Right. No problem. All right. Thank you. All right. AAG update. I think I heard Kristen here today. Kristen, is that you?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, everybody. I have a couple of things to update you on. First of all, I believe it was a request of Commissioner Gamboa to do a presentation about farm workers who are vulnerable to sexual violence and harassment and gender discrimination. And I just wanted to give you a quick update that I'm working with our Civil Rights Division. Colleen Melody is working to identify someone that will be able to come to a future meeting. And right now, the scope of that presentation is a case law update. So if there is additional scope or thoughts about that, if you could just reach out to Andrita and let her know. But at this point, we're working with Colleen to identify a Civil Rights Division person to come and do that presentation, hopefully in April or May. We are working through some scheduling issues and availability. So we'll keep that on the horizon. But if there is any additional things, in our goal right now is a case law update on farm workers who are vulnerable to sexual harassment, violence, and gender discrimination. Andrita mentioned already, we've done a little bit of work on the statement of interest piece. So there's two different tracks going on that I want to talk about. First of all, we have looked at the materials that were shared by the Fair Work Center. And for those of you that were at the retreat strategic planning meeting, Fair Work Center was the organization that had submitted an earlier request to the commission to do a statement of interest. The case that was about closed, so it was no longer an opportunity, but they had shared some materials, including some sample statements of interest and some policies, in particular for the EEOC that has a policy about how they participate in statements of interest. We also had a reach out from an attorney from the Northwest Justice Project. She reached out to me as the counsel for the commission and wanted to ask some questions about what the commission is doing. And after speaking with Andrita, we agreed that I would go ahead and have a meeting with her. I also invited my colleague, Alfredo Benitez Gonzalez, who's our Civil Rights Division person who has worked with statements of interest for the AGO's processes where they do investigations on employment matters. So he's a little bit more of a subject matter expert on this topic than I am. So Elizabeth was reaching out to understand because they actually have submitted a new request. So on March 15th, the commission has received a new request to do a statement of interest, and working with Andrita and her staff, both Alfredo and I have been available to be working through how to write that first statement of interest. There are a lot of resources available from DHS, and they also offer consultation when an organization is doing their first submission of a statement of interest to help and make sure that all of the things are included in the letter that need to be included and the process is followed. So we're working through that on an individual request from the Northwest Justice Project. And it was a good conversation because we were able to ask some questions about what they've been doing generally and whether they've had other organizations that they're making requests to, and found out that some of the other state agencies are also doing this. So LNI, they also do employment related investigations, the Labor and Industries Group, and have submitted some statements of interest. So we've gotten some more examples to look at and trying to do a reach out with colleagues in my office that may have advised LNI. So we're trying to connect all those dots and pull it all together and have two goals. One is to respond to the specific requests from Northwest Justice Project, and use that as a learning ground to come back with some recommended procedures and policies. So it's actually kind of a good way to develop a policy while you're working through a particular request to implement something. So we're hoping that at a later meeting, we would have a policy that has some options for you to recommend. And as Andrita mentioned, whether it's something that the commission wants to be involved in, or whether you want to delegate responsibilities to Andrita and her staff. And we can talk about that when we have an actual policy to look at. So I just wanted to share that with you, that we'll be working through that, including Alfredo from our Civil Rights Division. And I just wanted to clarify one thing that Andrita mentioned, the U visa. So that's a separate issue and policy that is not at issue right now. We've been using it as a example to just talk about, it's another DHS, Department of Homeland Security, process that is very similar. And we were looking to see if the commission had a policy about U visas, just to have a starting ground for developing a policy for the statements of interest. So we're not currently working on any U visa issues. We're just using that as a template or something that's analogous in some ways. It's very different process for different reasons. So I just wanted to clarify that we're focused on the statements of interest for deferred action, which are about labor investigations for discrimination. So that's it on statements of interest. The last announcement that I have, this unfortunately is my last commission meeting. I have been recruited and accepted a position at the city of Tacoma. A former boss is now working there, and it was a hard opportunity to pass up. So Matt Kernett, my supervisor, will be the contact for the commission for the time being while they go through a hiring process. My last day at the AGO's office is April 12th. So I will be transitioning all of these things to Matt, and Alfredo will also still be the continuity on the statement of interest piece, and Matt will come in. And then once the hiring process is complete, there could be a different contact for you once they have all their bodies at the table and understand how they're going to allocate all of the clients. So I did want to say thank you to all of you. I really have appreciated being part of the work that you do. It's really inspiring to me, the work, but also that there's so many people that are committed to this work and show up and do all of the things that you do. So thank you for letting me be a part of it for these last couple of years. It's been really a pleasure to work with everybody.
Thank you, Kristen. That's definitely bittersweet news. I hope that we'll still run into each other professionally, because I tend to have a lot of interaction on lawsuits with the city. We're usually on the same side.
Okay, good to know.
So look forward to interacting with you there. It'd be nice.
Okay,
I will
great.
too. But thank you for all your hard work, of course, and your sage direction and wisdom along the way, and frankly, getting us as commissioners educated on some of these things and giving us bumpers so that we don't go off the rails. But we'll miss you. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Well, wish you continued success.
Thank
And you certainly have a nice personality.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Before we leave the statement of interest, I just want to cut through the chase and through the whatever the saying is. I don't think there's any doubt, at least in my mind, and I think probably in your mind, that we should be part seeking this statement of interest. I mean, our job is to protect people that come to us, and why would we not want, if somebody files a complaint, why would we not want to protect it from employer retaliation? So I think I would like to make a motion, or that's proper, that we ask Andrea to move ahead with this policy right now. It has our approval. I think the only thing that we have to work out is the details on how we do it.
Yeah. So I think there's no question that we're moving forward with developing a policy, and that there is clear direction from the commission from the last meeting, and in talking with Andrea to move forward. I think the two things that we want to make sure we're addressing in the policy and the process we go through is one, that there are concerns around how you do statements of interest to protect confidentiality and other things, to make sure that we're including all the information that we need to include in the statement of interest to help the Department of Homeland Security to do what they need to do on their end. But also we're balancing how much specific information goes into those letters, so that we're not raising flags and sharing information that then puts people at risk in some other way. So there's some balancing and things that we need to look through to make sure that that policy has it covers those concerns. And in particular, we're talking about public records issues and things like that we need to think through and make sure that they're covered. The second piece, and this was part of our conversation with the attorney from Northwest Justice Project, is making having an understanding of what the role the commissioner is. And when we're able to present a policy recommendation, we can talk about this more. But the statement of interest is an important piece, but it's a small part of the process for the protection. And that's a piece that we also need to make sure we're thinking through the whole process for the people that you're trying to protect with the statement of interest. So one of the questions we explored with the Northwest Justice Project attorney is, what happens once a statement of interest is submitted? The protection is not in place at that time. Right. It's just a piece of evidence for DHS to consider to put those protections in place. The people that are part of the protected category of workers that are identified in the statement of interest then need to do a process of applying for the protection. And so making sure that we have the connections or referral resources or whatever in place. Certainly if those requests are coming in from organizations like Northwest Justice Project, we can assume, and they have assured us that they are in the process from start to finish with their clients. So if we were to submit a statement of interest, they would be helping the workers, or at least their client, on any future steps that need to be taken to actually access the protections in place. So absolutely agree that this is an important policy for the commission to work with, but we want to make sure that we're doing it prudently and strategically, because there are a lot of other pieces and some risks in both your piece of the statement of interest because of public records, but also the other pieces that we don't just submit statements of interest and then they don't actually have a way to access the protections because there's more steps for them to take. And that's not a role for the commission to participate in those future steps. So I don't know if that helps, but we can talk about that more when we have a policy recommendation later at a later meeting.
Okay, so you're saying that there's no question that we're going to do it. We just want to find out how to do it right.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm sorry.
One follow-up briefly, that since Commissioner Gamboa sort of, I guess, made a motion, I don't know. Is a motion required to move forward with this at this juncture? Or is it, do we get involved at the very end?
So one possibility is you could make a motion and delegate the authority for Andrita to adopt a policy, and that would help get the policy in place and then just bring it back. If you want to be involved in the choices about the policy and adopt the policy by motion, that's an option too, and you would wait for that motion when we bring a policy forward. But if you want to delegate the authority for Andrita to develop and adopt a policy and then just report back once it's in place, that would be an option, and you could do that motion today.
I don't know why we would not do that right now, because it would be something we'd have to do anyway, and it's something Andrea's doing anyway. If nothing else, this formalizes at least the commission's interest and importance that we place on this. And really, that's all it does, other than we'll be bothering Andrea more.
Well, and I just want to say that the policy would be patterned by other state agencies that are doing the same thing. So you don't have to, there's no fear that I'm going to do something very different from what has been done before. So I think there is some assurance that the policy will be sound and has been tried with other agencies too. So.
My only remarks is that it seems to be a policy that is going to be formed for addressing the issues for farm workers, but we don't only have farm workers that are facing with the difficulties of being deported before or being harassed for trying to get their rights upheld. There are a vast array of workers, not only farm workers, but foreign workers in the state that I would like to see those policies addressed to not only farm workers, but workers in general.
I think that's the intent. We would have the policy as broad for anyone that is eligible under the DHS rules. So we would be pointing to that as the scope of what the commission could do. And that does include basically the bucket is anyone who has immigration status issues, who are involved and at risk because of a labor discrimination investigation. So it could be does not need to be a farm worker issue. It could be factory, industry, commercial, institute, educational institution. It could be any labor agency that is being investigated or litigated against for WALAD employment or other things. So I think we're very much focused on having it be as broad as those protections would allow under DHS's policies.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sort of not hearing a reason why we shouldn't do this motion today.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Well, Commissioner Gamboa, you introduced it, so you can make the formal motion.
Such a long time ago. I make a motion that we formally go on record saying that we support the labor-based deferred action policy, and that we delegated to Andrita to work on it with whoever, AG's office or whatever, to make sure it's done correctly.
I second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion passes. Andrita, you've got that power now.
Thank you.
Sure. And if there's anything that you need from us along the way, of course, definitely let us know. This is obviously something of significant interest to the commission.
Yes.
Thank you. Sure.
All right.
That's all
Anything
I have.
else? All
Thank
right.
you, everyone. It's been a
Thank you,
pleasure.
Kristen.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're nearly wrapping up here. The last point here is public comment. I did not hear any members of the public at the beginning, but if there are any members of the public on the call now, I invite you for your public comment. Just go ahead and unmute yourself and identify yourself. All right. Hearing nobody and also seeing nobody on the participant list, we'll move on from public comment. And that is the end of our agenda today. Is there anything that requires discussion that we haven't spoken about yet? All right.
Okay.
Very good. Thanks everybody for a productive discussion today and a good meeting. Appreciate you. See you in about 30 days.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.